This is a primetime local news update.
The Alberta government announced they have 67 new cases of COVID-19 in the province, with the total now at 486 cases. 34 cases are community transmission, 10 are currently in ICU, 27 Albertans have recovered from COVID-19. The seniors' home where a woman passed away also has 13 more confirmed cases. The Saskatchewan government announced they have 9 new cases of COVID-19 in the province, bringing the total to 95. 4 confirmed cases of individuals 19 years of age and under. 4 cases are in the 20 to 44 age range, 32 are in the 45 to 64 range, and 14 cases have been confirmed in the 65 plus range. Alberta Beef Producers is working with the Canadian Cattlemen's Association to address the impact of COVID-19 on the beef and cattle industry. Our industry will be able to operate through this pandemic if commerce continues, processing plants and borders remain open, and cattle and supplies can keep moving, said ABP Chair Kelly Smith-Fraser. The group wants to see food and agriculture designated as essential services by both the provincial and federal governments. The City of Lloydminster has made a few updates to measures they're taking during a local state of emergency. The city has prohibited public gatherings of 10 or more people in one room, and non-allowable business services will be unable to provide public-facing services. We will be providing the latest updates from our city in both provinces on our Facebook page, and that's it for today's Daily News Update.
Here for the daily update, Thursday, March 26, 2020, regarding the COVID-19 situation in Lloydminster. We'll start with primetime local news. They're looking here, what went into the city's decision to suspend public access to city-owned playground equipment, and why was this necessary?
It wasn't an easy decision for us to make at the city. We understand that a lot of people and families are home from work and they want to stay busy and using the playgrounds in Lloydminster. In the end, the decision was made out of abundance of caution for the safety of all of our residents in the city. By reducing the number of touch points on these hard surfaces at the playground, we can help slow the possibility of any kind of virus transmission in our community. And as well, the green spaces around playgrounds are still open, as well as our walking trails in the city. We do want to remind residents, if you are going out in the community, we strongly urge everyone to practice social distancing, and this includes not gathering in groups of more than 10 people and keeping at least a 2-meter separation.
And on that note, will there be any consequences for people who, I guess at this point, continue to use playground equipment?
We do believe that everyone in our community will take this virus and all the recommendations seriously. But we will be working with the Lloydminster RCMP to further educate the public and, if need be, their enforcement rules.
Joining me today is head coach of the Lloydminster Bobcats, Nigel Dubé. Nigel, thanks for taking some time to speak with me during all this chaos, and I know you guys are busy in the off season right now as you just got back from the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament not too long ago. How did that go? I know last season you guys got 3 different players from Minnesota, so obviously it's a big recruiting trip for you.
Yeah, it went really well for us, and it was one of those. I was down there before any of this stuff kind of took off, so I got back before everything kind of happened. But it was really good, and it's a process now for us of just talking to players and staying in touch with them and getting to know them a little bit. And there was plans to have them up here for prospect camp, but that's been postponed. So we'll just keep the lines of communication open right now and continue to grow on the relationship like many other prospects do as well.
Now, you mentioned that you went down before the COVID-19 really started to pick up and really started to restrict what people can and can't do. How has it sort of affected the rest of your guys' off season thus far?
Well, it's everything's shut down for us right now. We're watching a lot of video and staying in touch with the prospects, with our regular players, all that kind of stuff. And more so, when you talk to a kid right now, it's kind of like, what's going on? And they're like, well, not a whole lot. They're playing video games or helping out around the house or some that have a cabin or whatnot might be out there. But everything's pretty low key here. But just working the phones and watching video. We need to continue to move forward in our recruiting part. It's just a little bit different than it was before.
And you mentioned that your spring camp is postponed. How will that sort of push everything and I guess affect maybe from a player's side of things more?
Well, we've had those discussions. Some of the players are more eager to sign now. Some of the players are happy to kind of hold off. And it's one of those, whenever we do get back to having the camps, there's going to be a lot of camps on the same weekend like we're planned originally here for April. And it's just a matter of doing our work to making sure that we get the players that we want here. And it's like anything. It's a recruiting battle every day. We're calling one kid, and there's probably 4 other teams calling them from who knows which leagues. So it would just be nice to get them here to Lloydminster so that they can see the city. That's what we're the proudest of is the fact when a kid gets here, they see the feel of the community, the support that there always is. And that's a big selling point for us is the community support that we do have here. So we'll work to get these kids here once everything clears up.
Now, with midget AAA and minor midget AAA and midget AA playoffs not being able to finish, has that inhibited you guys at all? Or do you think, there's enough exposure throughout the year that, you kind of have a grasp on who you guys like and whatnot?
Well, hats off job to our scouting staff and having those notes in place. And I think this is a time that shows how important those are. I think it's a little bit unique because usually down the stretch you'll find a diamond in the rough through the playoff series that step up. It's no different than junior going to college going to pro, and you kind of perform that way and might have a breakout playoff season. So there's the chance of losing that diamond in the rough that you might find. But Andrew and our crew has done a fantastic job through the year with notes, and we go back on those. We cycle through them. We went back on last year's recruiting notes too as well. So we looked at that, but I think it just shows the emphasis that you got to put on doing the work during the year. And at the same time too, we're lucky that we're not a year ago right now where we were bringing in a football team for a hockey team, which we talked about before, Evan. So we're looking to fill some holes here, but we're excited about the guys that are on our radar right now.
Well, Nigel, thanks for taking this time during all this chaos, and best of luck with the rest of your off season.
Thanks, Evan. Stay safe out there.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
All right, I'm very pleased to be joined with Michelle Myers from Lloyd Regional Health Foundation. So, Michelle, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the donation to the Project Sunrise from L&L Oilfield and how significant that is.
Well, now it feels more significant than ever. Obviously, all of our mental health is really being challenged, and that's what Project Sunrise is all about. This started back in 2014. It included the Lloyd Needs Assessment, if anybody remembers that. And we kind of saw that our area was just plagued with bad mental health and actually a lot of suicide. And so slowly we've been creating the endowment, which is now over $1 million. And when I say endowment, obviously that's reoccurring donations that are going into that endowment and stuff. And we're able to provide resources in things like the schools. So obviously that's not really being used right now, but the schools have the mental health resource officers in school, and that's all paid for by Project Sunrise. So it's kind of little advantages that we can get ahead on in our community and give the best mental health support we can. The biggest thing that we've created from it that is available to everyone, even though there's tons of little projects around, is the Lloydminster Mental Health Navigation Tool. So we have a Lloydminster specific website full of resources just for our community. So it's anything from mental health, whether it's maintaining good mental health. If you have a mental health disorder, you can find more information there. You can talk to professionals. It also goes over addictions as well. So there's quite a few varieties, and that huge donation from L&L Oilfield in celebration of their 50th anniversary just means that we have $10,000 more to continue providing services, which are going to be crucial in the coming months. Whether we like to admit this or not, it's going to be very hard on everybody, whether it's social distancing, isolation, the economic toll, all sorts of stuff is going to happen, and we're going to have to focus on our mental health and continue to talk about it. I hate to say it, but the Canadian Mental Health Association and everybody like that is predicting a pickup in mental health issues and things like suicide. And so what we want to do is be able to provide the best support we can. I know right now, like obviously there's no face-to-face support or anything like that, but certainly that's coming back. It's going to happen, and that $10,000 goes to keeping up the website, making sure that happens. There's also other programs that have been funded, which includes Game Plan, which is really popular with the Lloyd Minor Hockey Association this year. So people have probably heard from that, and that's a specific program that can't be running right now, unfortunately, but it allows young players of any sport to focus on their mental health and learn about it. We are seeing a crisis among children with suicide rates and mental health issues, and so it's really important to start talking about mental health at that young age. So yeah, the L&L oil field donation is amazing.
Absolutely. For sure, because at this time, like you said, everyone being in self-isolation is very hard. And lastly, just before we wrap things up here, you guys received a huge amount of masks donated to you guys. How crucial was that for you guys?
Well, I mean, the world's in shortage of masks. We won't lie about that. And certainly we didn't want to create panic. Lloydminster had lots of masks, I have to say. However, now we have enough for every single person for any reason in our healthcare field. So whether it's the person working in maintenance or a doctor going by, everybody who's working in those facilities can be in full personal protective equipment. So that's really amazing. That came from local dentist's office, local businesses, whether they were oil field related or not. A lot of individuals reached out to us with things they had in their garage. Unfortunately, we can't use masks and things like that, but we were able to have a huge collection of masks given to the Lloydminster Hospital as well as other clinics. And then we've been able to source those out because of the generous donations out to smaller communities in our area. So it's been awesome.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing all that wonderful information with us today. Really much appreciated. And of course, all the money from L&L is going to be going towards some good causes. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Connor.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of a Primetime Local News Update.